All right, we are now live. Welcome everyone to talk about leadership again. And today I am so pleased to welcome an entrepreneur, a CEO who works into education and leadership, Eduardo Ávalos. Hello, Eduardo.
Hi, Jerome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. So you're the CEO of Caseca and also Calidad Educativa. And so you work with universities, you work with leaders, but I think you're the best person to introduce yourself. So who are you?
Thank you very much. I'm Eduardo Ávalos. I think that sometimes CEO is a nice word, but it only means that you work for a lot of people, for your team, for your clients, and from different fronts. So uh, I'm really passionate about education, about helping people achieve or get to their better self, because I think that's my job as a leader of the company, help my team to get to the better version of themselves so they can get to where we want to take the companies. Um, I have been working in education, well, in these companies for 9 years now. They are family owned companies. My father started it almost 30 years ago. Then I came into the picture, and then I've been trying to help change things, uh, put some part of my own experience, and see how can we impact more universities, more students, more people all around the world. Um, and basically, I've been in education all my life. I started my first company when I was 19 years old. So I have been trying to help people through education in different ways. So this has been a really interesting journey. I have been fortunate enough to get to know people from different countries, different backgrounds, and to learn from all of them through this work that I do.
Mm. And I like the way you describe your work because for me this is leadership. Like when you try to help people grow and to make them move forward towards a goal. But that's my own vision of leadership. What is yours? How do you see leadership today?
Um, I think that it's really complicated. For example, I think I'm young still, uh, because, but that also gets, well, has a lot of complication because I manage people that is older than me. I
Mm.
manage people younger than me. I manage people my own age, and we also are a remote company, so that also has a lot of challenges. Yes,
Mm.
I know, I know. I have been getting a lot of push of getting back to in-person work, but honestly, I also like life balance for for me and for my team. So work-life balance for me is really important. Mexico City is a really chaotic city. It's really
Mm.
complicated to move around, and for me, people losing 1 hour and a half in the traffic, it's nonsense. I prefer them to go to the gym, to sleep, to have a breakfast at home with their families. Um, so for me, leadership, the things that I work at is I have to understand how people uh, want to be managed, how people want to uh, be supported, because there are people that need like a tough hand. So let's say like that. That there are people that manage their time on their own. They're on their own. You have to tell. You only have to tell them, "Hey, that's the goal, and that's it." And they
Mm.
are like, "Yeah, yeah," moving like crazy, and you don't have to tell them anything. Just be like, "Hey, you need anything from me?" Um, there are other people that uh, are too intense, and you have to help them like lower down and took it more step by step. So I think that right now my role is like kind of a psychologist of my team, trying to understand, okay, you need this, you need this, you need this, because also with the age difference, for example, I have people in my team that are like, oh no, I want to travel, and right now I want to go to that part of the world. Hey, can I keep? Is there any problem? And I'm like, hey, as long as you're connected and you deliver, I don't care. But if you
Mm.
have meetings with clients or people on their team, we're not going to move the schedule for you. So you have to be on time. So I try to be like a really compassionate leader, maybe.
Yes, I think
But
that's a good word, but also the way you describe it reminds me of that quote attributed to Bruce Lee saying, "Be water." You adapt yourself to the other person. You don't push your style to others. You're like water, that adapting to the recipient. So a person we need more softness, you be soft, and person we need a bit more, as you said, a bit more push and a bit more hard. You will adapt, and that way you lead by adapting rather than by forcing your style to others, if I understood well.
yeah, yeah, and also, well, what I've been struggling a lot is to trying to help people be more adaptive, because right now I think that the world is changing so fast
Mm.
that the trying to make people understand that, hey, if you made a mistake, if you're the expert in, I don't know, accounting, well, you have to know something else right now. You have to know how to program, or you have to know how to use Gemini for making faster analysis. So I also have to adapt really quickly, to have to learn a lot,
Mm.
study all the time, and tell my team, hey, this is happening, this is new. We have to move like in that direction. So I think that I would describe it like a compassionate leadership, focus on adapting as fast as I can, and trying to help them also adapt as fast as they can.
Mm. And do you feel that because for me, I still have that vision because I studied in France for a long time, so I saw the educational system there, and for me, it is the opposite of adaptation. Is really okay. So this is how we do it, and this is how we teach, and this is how we study, and yes, the world's changing, but we do it this way anyway. I don't know if you observe this or as well, because you work with different unis in all over the world. So are they all the same, or is it just like in specific countries? Did you see also a change in leadership also in education, or if that's needed actually?
Yes, unfortunately, most of them operate the way you say. Hey, we have always done this this way, and we cannot change. There's no not. I don't know if they don't want to change or they don't know how to change. I have a theory that in education, it's the only place where they will tell you, "Oh no, I'm a doctor, blah blah blah. I'm master, blah blah." They as if it was like the title. Well, it's really important if they don't uh, tell you that they studied something, uh, they get annoyed. So for me, I think that they have merged the title with their own identity.
Mm.
So if you question like the system, is kind of questioning their own identities. So they fight back. That's my theory, because I have been working with different universities and leaders in different parts of the world, and I've seen that they take it as a personal attack when you try to tell them, "Hey, things are not working right now. We have to do something." Uh, I have seen change. Yes, yes, I have seen several universities that are working faster than usual. It's really encouraging to see that. Uh, Unfortunately, not very much. Not that many universities as we need and as fast as is needed. I have seen great leaders in education. I have seen that if the dean of the university has a different mindset, everything moves faster and better, and you can do a lot of things. It doesn't matter. I have seen public universities move really fast, and private universities, big universities, small universities. So it all comes down to the people standing at the top. If that person wants to make things different, everything changes. So, but the problem in education is that it takes a lot of time. So for you to make a change in education is like 3 years of working really hard, and then 1 year, in 1 year you can lose everything. So that's a very dangerous ratio, because also in education, at least in Latin America, the most of the leaders change every 3 to 4 years. So
it's
it's
like a
complicated.
short vision for
Yeah.
their mandate, and whereas they need to think that for the long term, and sometimes they do something for the long term, but then the person after them, we just change everything because they, oh, that's not my vision, and that's what also breaks what has been done before, and that's why they stay in status quo.
Yep. Yeah, we have a saying in Mexico, is that we reinvent the warm water every time. Because the next person in the power gets, no, nothing worked before, right? My ideas are the best, and everything has to change. So you have no continuity, or even if something is working, they change the name, or really things that are not really useful. But I don't know if that's a mindset, especially in Latin America, but that complicates things a lot. Some universities have like a board that tries to define the vision, and then when the dean changes, it's not that it doesn't have impact that much, but there are not that many that also have that system.
And I'm wondering, because obviously education is very important, and it's not just about learning, but it's also community and building relationships and growing as a person. That's how I see my education anyway. But what I observe as well is people now don't rely, especially young people, don't rely on unis or schools to learn, and that's how you see TikToks and all those new ways of learning today, and have and make it really accessible and really fast to be able to do stuff, because things are going fast and things are changing really quickly. So how these new media of learning is also impacting universities, because you said yes, it's risky to make change because it can collapse really quickly, but also it's super risky not to do anything because all the rest is changing.
No, I think it's riskier not to change anything. For me, I tell my team, we have to adapt. If not, we're going to die as a company, and became irrelevant as a professional. So I think that universities haven't been able to really adapt to new ways of communication for young people. Also, the attention span has become shorter. We don't like to stay focused that much time. That's why also shorter articles, shorter interviews, shorter videos, and we want everything done really fast and easy. Like 6 steps to be happy, 7 steps to find your perfect match, 3 steps to have a perfect app. So perfect apps. So, and that's not the way the world really works, especially in education. So I have seen some universities try to change the way they communicate, like trying to start some things in TikTok, some things in YouTube, some things in Instagram. We have become more visual. Right now, video is working quite well. But also that something that was really common, at least in Latin America, is that before the pandemic, we saw like virtual education as something like lesser than in-person education. So that in that way, universities weren't really prepared to change, most of them, to exploring new ways of communication. Like for hundreds of years, we did the same thing. Someone standing in the middle with a blackboard or a whiteboard or a green something behind them, and that's it. They were talking. Maybe they give you some lecture. I think that the only things that we changed in that system was that we have a projector. Maybe we had PowerPoint, and that was like really innovation.
Yeah,
You're-
the peak of technology. Yeah.
yeah. If you
Or
have
if you have
a
a TV, like to put like a video of with a sound, or yeah, that was
yeah,
peak.
no, and if your teacher had like effects on the presentation, she or he was like, oh,
Yes.
they're so advanced. So it was complicated because we didn't thought about a different way to communicate and to share knowledge. Uh, to be honest, it's there are also challenges for virtual education. There are also challenges. There are things I think, for example, leadership. I don't think that you can teach leadership in a virtual setting. You can share knowledge, but leadership is like it needs another human being. If you are, for example, Tom Hanks is stranded in an island, there's no leadership
Mm.
because you need someone else.
Actually, there's a really good question from the audience, from Yassine, who asked, would you say education shapes future leaders differently than corporate environments?
It, it should. I think it should. I'm not really sure that it's doing it, but it should because, for example, for me, I participated in United Nations models of I debated for 15 years of my life, and I think for me it was more important that part of my life than all my years studying in the traditional system. I learned more about me and about leadership in that extracurricular activity than in classrooms. Uh, some universities have tried to introduce like problem solving classes and curricula and more focus on that area, but also it's kind of complicated to measure. How do you know if the problem that you told your class to your classroom really will help for them to know how to negotiate when they get, for example, to their first job? It's kind of complicated, but for me, it should be one of the first steps that you take in leadership through school, because you have a lot of options that they can teach you.
Mm. Because, yeah, as you said, leadership requires real life experience and not just um, theories. So, uh, yeah, most of time in uni, it's a theory or maybe some study cases, but in companies, is real life over time. Is always a competition. So, do you think in that way there's a difference in terms of leadership skills development from the corporate world to the educational world?
Yeah, and it shouldn't be that way, because you have also dual education. You can bring the students to the companies and help them learn in a real life environment. And also, I think that the most complicated thing about leadership is managing your own emotions,
Hmm.
because when you're the leader, even though what's happening, you have to manage your own emotions to try to help your own team. If you break, everything breaks.
Hmm.
So for me, that's the toughest part of leadership. How can I manage my own emotions to not let them interfere in how I understand my team?
Hmm. So, what would you say would be the best way to change the educational system to improve leadership skills development?
We need to bring more people that are really working in the that have real life experience to the classrooms. We
Hmm.
still have a lot of people that have a PhD in leadership, but a PhD in leadership is not really useful uh, to teach people how to be a leader. So we have to bring more real life experience to the classrooms. We have to also uh, give the students more opportunities in companies, because we still see, at least in Latin America, we'll still see some universities that don't allow students to work at the same time they're studying. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
with awful schedules that don't allow you to find a job. And the reality in Latin America is most of the students, most of them need to work
Yes.
just to feed themselves.
Mm.
Some of them to pay universities, some of them to help their own families. So still having universities that don't allow students to work at the same time they study, for me, it's insane. And also we have to adapt quickly. It's complicated because regulation in Latin America is really, really, really slow. So the regulation is like 20 years behind. So universities are like really constrained because they know that the companies are asking for more from them. Students are asking more from them, but the government is really, really behind. They don't let them. They're not letting them move the speed that is needed. So I think that would be like three uh, key things that we can start fairly rapidly. That is bring more real life experience to the classroom. Uh, Let them work. Let students work. Like try to change the schedules that allows people to work, and put pressure on governments, because if they're we say that we want to prepare students for the jobs for the future, but if it takes 3 to 4 years to change
Mm.
a curricula with the government,
It's too late.
so it's too late.
Yeah.
It's completely insane. So for me, that would be like three things that we need to change as
Mm.
fast as we can.
Mm. And what would you say? That, because as you said earlier, it's a lot of top-down decisions in terms of universities. If it doesn't come from the top, it's really hard to change anything in those organizations. So what can be done? What can be improved on the top of universities or educational institutions in terms of leadership?
I think that right now we have seen change, because I have seen more deans that are like connected to their students. So I have seen deans that it, it's it's easier to get an appointment with the CEO of a Fortune 500 company than with a dean of a university.
Wow.
They are really, really like, oh no, are almost like demigods. But I have seen change. I have seen some more connected to the students, that they really know the students. They talk with them in the hallways, in the classrooms, that they teach. There are a lot of things that they don't teach. So how can you manage something and not be on the front line? So for me, at least, I don't understand that way of leading. So I have
To
seen
have a
more.
bit more skin in the game, like
Yeah,
Nicolas Taleb would say.
yeah, because for example, like the head of technology tells you, hey, we need to implement this software for learning experience of the students, blah blah blah, and the dean is like, oh no, we don't need that because we have always done this the same way. But if the dean gave a lecture the same day in the morning and the students were in their phones all the time, then it would be really faster and easier for he or she to understand, hey, we need to change something because the students are not paying attention to us, and we keep doing the things the same way over and over and over again. And as Einstein said, doing the same things the same way and expecting a different result is insane.
Mm. Oh, all right. And so yes, because you work with mainly with the directors and the managers of universities, and but do you also work with students to see also how that new generation is evolving and what kind of leaders they need also? Because as you said, you work also in your company with different group ages, and yes, we are young, but there's also younger people also
Yeah.
than us, and maybe they need like a different kind of leadership. And I think it's quite interesting also to integrate that vision of transgenerational leadership, because the needs and the expectations are different. So how about that, the new generation coming up?
It's complex. I think it's in some ways is they are better. I'm not sure if I would say prepared, but I'm more aware of what's of all the challenges that the world is facing right now, regarding climate change, regarding politics, regarding economy. So some of them are like more. I'm not sure if this would be like the disappointed or maybe sad of the future. Some of them are more hands-on, like, hey, this is bad, we have to change things. I have a lot of people from 20, I have 4 people of 22 years old in my company, so really open to learning, really it's a challenge because as I said earlier, the attention span is really short. So you have to keep them engaged. You have to also reinvent how you teach them, how you motivate them, because for older generation it was easier to say, hey, that's the goal. We have to go there. We have to work like for that amount of months, and that's it. No, we are going to review the progress, but that's it. But with younger generations, you have to review like the motivation and how they keep understanding the problem, because that also changes. So sometimes they would say, hey, I lost the focus of why did you ask me to do this? What's the point? And you have to tell them again, hey, because this is going to impact the company in that way, will impact the clients, it's going to benefit in that way. So at least in my company, it has forced me to rethink how I motivate people, because they need like a more permanent connection. And also for quite a few years, I was the national vice president of a students association in Mexico called IMEF, the finance professionals that they have in Mexico. They have a group for students, and I managed like almost 98 universities,
Oh, wow.
2,000 students more or less. So it was quite a challenge. But in that way I also saw really motivated students. One time they called me and they said, hey, we got the CEO of Nissan to give us a speech. And I'm like, how? We don't know. But we got the CEO. And I was like, no, I have to be there to present. At what time? 6 a.m. What? So I was 6 a.m. like falling asleep, presenting the CEO of Nissan, because I don't know how they got her.
Wow.
So it's really interesting, and you see that kind of excitement and commitment when they are motivated. They are like a force of nature.
Yes, and I think is that's something I observe as well. Before, especially like in politics and stuff, you had to be neutral in the work environment, but today you can't be neutral. You have to be committed. You have to take a side in a way, otherwise it's weird. And I think that's really challenging as well in leadership, because you need also to manage different points of view, different values clashes as well. And yeah, that's not easy.
Yeah, and also interest, because older generations are like, hey, no, I want to retire, I want to do this, I want to do that. And younger generations are like, I want to experience things, I want to go there, I want to live this. So I think that I always tell my team, if I don't keep you engaged, you're going to go. I have to give you like this salary that matches your talent, your needs, the level you are. But for me, the most important thing is to keep them engaged, because if they're not engaged with their work, they're going to get bored and they're going to go, and they're not going to give me their best. So it's like trying to find. That's why I think that I'm kind of the psychologist of my team, because I need to understand them to see what drives them, and how can I match what drives them with the goals of the company, So most of the times I'm changing people from teams. Or making them work together to see, okay, this team works better because, I don't know, they work better under a female leadership. On this team works better under a male leadership. For this task, it's better to have a female leadership. For this task, it's better to have a male leadership. So I'm always trying to play to find the best strategy.
Yeah, I think that's the smartest way to do, because we are all different, and today we are not in a mass. I would say a mass community now. Is more like a tribal way, and with our own way of doing things. And I think yes, a smart leadership is to be able to identify this and to adapt to this instead of pushing a single monolithic way of doing things. So yes, I totally agree with you. That was super insightful, super interesting. Do you have a last message or a last hack or last message to share to us about our subject today?
I've been trying to push a different strategy that also it took my team a lot of time to get on board. That I made like a combination of KPRs with like behavioral psychology, and I try to connect, because I think that the time that when you could set like a 5-year plan, or even a 3-year plan, or even a 1-year plan is long gone. I don't think that you can do that anymore. So I think that you have to set certain, I call them pillars, or certain things that, hey, we always, for example, we always care about sustainability. We always care about the client. We always care about getting better, and we always care about our team. So that's like the 4 main things that we care about. So in what things fell in which category? That what things that we do are part of sustainability, what parts are for our team, what parts are for our clients, and what parts are for getting better every time. So I made a combination of these objectives, and I told them, hey, whatever we do, it has to be aligned in one of these four things, because I don't know if our company is going to face like a net tech in 3 months' time. I don't know if the regulation is going to change. I don't know if there's going to be a pandemic again and we have to shift. So whatever we do, we have to be sure that we always impact in these 4 things. In that way, I don't have to micromanage. I tell them, hey, I don't care at what time you do it. I don't care how you do it. As long as you achieve the result that we agreed to, that's fine. Because I also make them like create their own objectives. I tell them, hey, we need to do this. How would you do it? Maybe I do, I don't know, talk to the clients. Maybe I have some interviews, and maybe I something like that. And then I tell them, okay, now break it down step by step, like for almost like I'm going to start my computer, then I'm going to check my emails, then I'm going to send an email to the client. And so they're also aware of what are the things that I do every day, and how are they going to take me to the goal that I want to go. Because, for example, that I did that because of the remote work. Because I have seen that it's really easy to fall in. Hey, I just did my part. I don't care if it was okay, if my team understood it, if it was done on time. I just send it, and that's it. So I've seen that the remote work has also those challenges, that you can lose sight of how your work impacts your teammates. So I made a combination. If it works, I'm going to ask you how like an advice to write a book and put it out there, because it's been really interesting, and I think it works for the challenges that we're facing.
It does make sense, and the way you present it, it makes people more accountable as well for their own decision, because they set the goal, they choose, they say how they're gonna do it, and also they say it out loud with the team, so they're much more committed, much more accountable, and I think that's a way to make them leaders as well.
Yeah, and all the links to their work has to be public. So we have like a big spreadsheet, and they have to put their everything that they do, and they have to rate their own advances of the project. So if I see like 100%, and then I get into the link, and I'm like, this is not 100%. No,
Yeah.
or if sometimes he said, hey, I had some this project with Jerome, and I'm like, hey, why is the project like 50%? I know, because Jerome did his part, but I didn't do it. So that also makes like people understand which are the connections of their work, and how can they well, and which also which members of the team could help them to get better.
That's brilliant. Well, let me know when the book is out. I will definitely read it.
Thank you.
So much, Eduardo. That was a great conversation, super insightful, and thank you so much for sharing. So for the people who want to know more about you, I tagged you on LinkedIn so they can find your profile, and they can also go onto their website, or your website, that is in the description link.
Yeah, or over here, Caseca, I say.
Yes, and if you if people who are listening to us like this episode, please share. And the episode is Secrets of Leaders, and you can find it everywhere, including Spotify. Thank you very much, Eduardo, and talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jerome.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.